Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1538 of our daily content grind. So, today I kind of got curious about the end of G1, that tail end where they still had to create characters, but after you've done 100 or so of these robots, what are you really going to come up with for a brand new character? So, we are here with the Action Masters, the last characters to get full bios independently, whereas like Micro Masters were like team bios, and we don't want that. I want individuals. So we are looking at the Action Masters, and we are looking at the exclusive Action Masters. So while it is funny to hear about Devastator described as a single robot and not mentioning any of the other Constructicons, we are only going to be looking at the fresh faces, right? So that begins with Bonsaitron. These are in no particular order, but we're beginning with Bonsaitron. To the victor go the profits. I'm immediately thinking of Swindle. A master of crystallocution, a cybertronic martial art of defeating an opponent by attacking his metal fracture points, which is a real thing, by the way. Usually reduces an enemy to spare parts in minutes and then sells what's left if given the chance. Okay, yeah. This is new Swindle. I always wondered why Bonsaitron had this weird appeal to him outside of just being a repaint, an easy repaint of Bludgeon. That explains it. He's Swindle but cooler. He's Swindle but samurai coded. Yeah, his partner Razor Sharp is a lethal titanium-piercing crab that can tear through just about any kind of metal obstacle. Converts to a semi-automatic rifle that shoots plasma energy projectiles that explode on contact. So I don't know why a samurai has a crab for a partner. That was always the weird thing about Action Masters, is like the partners were just completely random sometimes. Let's see who else we got here. Next up, we got Jackpot moving over to the Autobots now. You can't win if you don't play. As every person with a scratch-off lottery ticket is just saying the exact same thing. I don't think this is great here. A boisterous, high-stakes do-gooder, able to turn any situation into a wager and usually win. Okay, well, then it's not like a high-stakes thing. If he's, like, cooking the odds. Once bet a Decepticon prison guard, he could escape from the most fortified containment cell without being noticed. The guard is now serving time in his place. It's a weird humble brag to put on your bio. Good luck is part of his programming. It's not how luck works. His partner, Sights, always has a Sodar locked into anything that can make Jackpot score big. Okay, this explains things. He cheats. His partner cheats for him. That is not high stakes anymore. You are literally rigging the game. I feel like this guy used to be a Decepticon. I feel like he picked up a few things. Kickoff, security expert. Actually, here's what, strategist. Okay, yeah, you want the strategist to be the gambler. All right, fine. Security expert. Draw courage from defeat and you gain more than you lose. It sounds like the motto of someone who never wins. Trained as a gladiator in the grease pits of Polyhex. I always assumed a lot of these names came from like the Marvel books and like especially the UK runs. I had no idea we actually got actual locations on Cybertron in these bios. In the grease pits of Polyhex, while a Decepticon captive of Cybertron, a specialist in hand-to-hand combat who is without equal, overheats in anticipation of using his skills on those who once imprisoned him. I want to show them what a good student I was, he says vengefully. That's two quotes on one bio. That's a party foul. His turbo pack can do 450 miles per hour while attached to kickoff. It also converts to an air-cooled, solar-powered flamethrower with pinpoint accuracy and heat beam attachment. So we got another like hand-to-hand combat who is without equal, but he will overheat if it's against the certain person. I don't think he's without equal in that case. I wouldn't have expected martial artist from him though. So actually, yeah, good match for Bonsaitron, I guess. Croc. Okay, why are you named after a reptile? Function, foot soldier. The road to conquest is best traveled one step at a time. That's how most roads are traveled, just saying. Gets his kicks from kicking. So Croc means the shoe, not the animal. One blow from his automatic powered foot can send an Autobot into orbit. This is the kind of crazy stuff I was hoping for like the tail end of coming up with characters. Like, I don't have any ideas. He kicks good. Centuries of playing All-Star Mecha Soccer on Cybertron and made him a terror he is today. Mecha Soccer. Okay. By taking a single stomping step, he can create a mini earthquake with a scale reading of at least 7.0. That's not a mini earthquake anymore. Faithful partner Gator Raider, funny pun, uses vice-like jaws to crush any unfortunate being caught in his aftershocks. I didn't know what to expect from Croc. I've only gotten exposure to him through the IDW comics. I didn't expect super strong feet. Alert the internet. Mainframe system analyst. A program is only as good as its programmer. I mean, like undeniably correct. I always got the vibe of like replacement Perceptor out of him. So let's see here. A walking talking computer terminal would rather attack fourth order differential equations than Decepticons. Totally committed to his work, views the galactic conflict as an inconvenience he must tolerate rather than a struggle in which he must participate. Is often compelled to flex his intellectual muscle when needed. Yeah. That's that qualifies. That qualifies here. Equipped with a 200,000 megabyte capacity. Okay, hang on. Let's crunch that. This won't be exact. Oh, actually, let's make it exact. 1024. Okay, so 195 gigabytes. I'm pretty sure my install of Fortnite is larger than that at this point. His pugnacious partner, Push Button, prefers converting to self-propelled proton rifle and disintegrating Decepticons over his assigned task of debugging mainframe's various programs. So one of those, like, opposing partners things. One's very eager to battle. The other one is not. But yeah, kind of spot on. He sounds like Perceptor. Rad. He wants to tell us about Transformers. Aerospace engineer. Think before you shoot, but shoot before you're shot. You have a very small window of action here, I find. With more moves than an all-pro halfback, this clever, cool-headed daredevil is equally adept at combating Decepticons or calculating the coefficient of friction for a rocket booster. Okay, so he's just great at everything. Paired with Lionizer, a roaring, raging bundle of overheated circuits who can change into an atom-smashing blaster at the drop of a microchip, unless Rad can cool his engines first. So not a whole lot of characterization there. Like, he just seems like an OC. He sounds Mary Sue, and that yeah, he's just very, very skilled and very, very cool because he's a daredevil, but also he's super smart too, and he's Optimus Prime's best friend, and they love each other greatly. This comes off like that a little bit. Rollout. Covert operations, which I believe his design looks more like a construction vehicle, which doesn't scream covert to me. The greater the weapon, the greater the power. Yes. That's how that works. A supercharged fighting machine, considered dangerous by his fellow Autobots because of his brash nature. Equipped with turbo backpack that can propel him into any position on the battlefield in seconds. Also equipped with the electromagnetic rocket launcher that fires bursts of static electricity, shorting out enemies' cerebral impulses. Wait a minute. Electromagnetic rocket launcher that fires bursts of static electricity. That's not what a rocket launcher does. Unless the rocket itself has bursts of static electricity, and why would you bother with static electricity when it's a rocket? Launcher converts to Glitch, a short-burst remote-controlled all-terrain battle drone armed with medium-range stun lasers and photon gun, often used to convert demolitions in battle. So, okay, I love that his main skill in his weaponry makes no sense whatsoever. That's great. But But yeah, consider the brash nature and the danger to his fellow Autobots. Okay, that's fine. That at least gives you like a little moral gray area to him. Skyfall, weapon engineer. Flying is the ultimate freedom. Okay. Space travel's pretty good too when you're a transformer, but we'll take flying. Can change into anything from a construction crane to a can opener, then into a weapon in less time. Okay, hang on. I was reading that by assuming that it meant like I thought I missed a word in there, and it was actually describing what he can do with like spare parts or scrap or something. No, can change into anything from a construction crane to a can opener, then into a weapon in less time than it takes to plug in a phone jack. So he cheats. Even when he's battling on the grounds, this former jet fighter has his head in the clouds, daydreaming about flying. His nagging partner, Top Heavy, can change into a radar-guided, triple-barreled electro-pulse machine gun. So he's just like an omni changer. He just turns into literally anything. He doesn't have like a fixed alt mode or that's weird. Like, why would you throw that in as an action master? So his characterization is he can turn into anything. In a toy line where the entire point and fiction is you can no longer turn into anything. That's what I meant, but I felt like they would run out of ideas. Treadshot, Gunslinger. So remember, Treadshot is based off of one of those Magnum robos that never came out as a Transformer. So he literally is a 6-shooter. When someone needs shooting, he's the one the Decepticons call to pull the trigger. I'm pretty sure everyone in the Decepticons needs to shoot somebody. I feel like every Autobot needs to be shot, so Treadshot can outdraw and outshoot any robot this side of the galaxy. Armed with and his partner Catgut is more than a willing weapon. The snarling, ferocious, four-legged beast eagerly turns into a powerful fusion-powered particle blaster with pulse demagnetizer attachment. Like Treadshot, Catgut gets a blast out of his job. Ha ha ha! Fun. I feel like I got more description of Catgut than I got Treadshot. He's literally just a really quick shot. He's literally just a gun. Yeah, his function is a gunslinger. I mean, that makes sense. This one, okay, we're going to get a couple here that are bit crunched. I apologize. These were the scans that were available. Axer, bounty hunter. No prey is too large, no fee is too small. So, okay, so you work for free then. Axer learned his craft hunting down microchip smugglers in the slag swamps of Cybertron. Okay. Okay. That's derogatory. We can't call the swamps that anymore. They prefer professional escort swamps now. Okay, we got to be PG about this. What a term. What a term, especially when you apply other definitions to it. His custom designed all-terrain turbocycle is equipped with heat-seeking proton missile batteries, quadraphonic sonic blasters, and magnetic lock targeting to stabilize a rifle, and converts to a dual photon cannon battle station. All right, so this is a few that have vehicles, not sidekick partners. So he's hunting down microchip smugglers, but he's a Decepticon. Like there's nothing in this bio outside of just the fact that he's a bounty hunter that describes him as a bad guy, really. Overrun, air defense. I rule the skies with a heavy hand. Preferably heavy weapons for your function. Overrun takes orders from no one but himself. That's not the best of team players there. I cut out the actual like numbers here just so we could zoom in more on the text. I kind of wish I had kept his numbers intact because that's a statement. I would love to have checked his rank real quick. He pilots an advanced model attack copter, which has a maximum speed of 340 miles per hour and a flying range of 1,200 miles. This doesn't seem very far for, like, space traveling characters. And is armed with an air-to-ground magnetic missile and a rotary photon pulse button. Also converts to double-barrel concussion cannon emplacement. don't know, he doesn't feel very, that's weird. Like, he doesn't feel very Autobot. He doesn't feel very Decepticon. This is, again, where I get the idea of, like, they really kind of ran out of ideas at the last minute. Like, that's not much of a character persona of, like, he doesn't listen to anybody. Okay, Sprocket, surface surveillance. Know your enemy and victory is yours. It helps. It helps. That's very presumptuous. Sprocket is programmed to take fast, forceful action and no prisoners. This fierce warrior doesn't withdraw from the battlefield until he's covered it with a smoking wreckage of Decepticons. See, there is some personality. There is just some, like, yeah, just it's just all out, guns blazing, leave nothing behind. I feel like he would have worked great in a Michael Bay movie. So he drives a rebuilt all-terrain attack cruiser, which has the standard supply of 2 photon rifles, metal immobilizing magnetic rockets, and bumper energy shields. The attack cruiser converts into a vector thruster helicopter armed with front-mounted plasma pulse machine guns. They really liked throwing in machine guns, plasma pulse. I don't know what a vector thrust is. But you know what? Good for them. But it seems like I feel like a lot of the weaponry is using the same terminology here. All right, Gut Cruncher. Okay, I know Gut Cruncher. Function, air-to-ground support. Conquest of the Autobots begins with control of the sky. Which is interesting motto for someone who's not aerial, actually. Gut Cruncher shares the Decepticon dream of total defeat of the Autobots, but for his own reasons. He has a contact with Megatron TM to trade their remains to the Junkions in other interplanetary spare parts dealers for vast quantities of Energon cubes. So again, he's basically doing the same thing that we saw in, he's essentially doing the same thing as Bonsaitron. Like, except this time he just has, like, a contract with Megatron so he can, like, actually do it officially. Okay, so basically, yeah. He is another swindle type. His cold calculating capitalist views all opponents as potential profit. Pilots a spacefaring stratosonic jet. Okay, now the whole control of the sky makes sense. Maximum speed of 400,000 miles per hour, 40,000 miles per hour. Armed with fusion bombs, 2 cruise missiles, particle beam, infrared lasers. I'm gonna start skipping the weaponry because this is taking a long time, longer than I thought. So yeah, I always thought of him as like I don't know. Like I kind of felt like he was just kind of like generic heavy for the Decepticons. I did not realize he also had the swindle thing going. I feel like him, Swindle, Lockdown, and Bonsaitron just need to get together and just make a racket out of this. Like, they're eating into each other's business otherwise. So, this is where we are getting into the European exclusive stuff. These are the ones who only came out in the UK and various other surrounding regions of Europe. So this is where we get into really unusual ones that a lot of people are really unfamiliar with. Charger, function, flamethrower. How'd you like your function to just be the weapon you carry around? I have no need for friends, even less for enemies. He's an introvert. Got it. Enjoys melting enemies into pools of burning liquid metal. A hot-tempered Decepticon who frequently loses his cool over the smallest problems. Not too sociable, more of an introvert. Yep, okay, I didn't even read that word in the bio. Only participates in an operation if he gets something out of it. Spends his spare time researching the possibilities of harnessing the energy emitted from a burning meteor. Is it just the one meteor? Just spends all the time working on just the one meteor that he somehow keeps burning. Let's see. Relishes the smell of burned Autobot titanium. His sidekick, Fire Beast, is a one-horned metallic robotic creature that combines with Charger to form an unstoppable battle machine. Okay, so now we're getting into this era. I'm assuming the Euro G1 bios are actually going to be much more like character focused and less weaponry focused. Because that's how a lot of G1 bios are. It's like three lines of like actual characterization, and then like here's all the weaponry and their power sets. But this is far more character driven, and yeah, he's He doesn't want to come out, but he really likes the smell of burning Autobots when he does. But he'd still rather stay inside. It's an interesting little dynamic. He enjoys like parts of battle, but he doesn't like having to go. It's like me at a party. Power Flash, infantryman. There's no present like time. Okay. Fast-talking, fast-moving bundle of overheated circuits, constantly marching about, giving orders and drumming his metallic fingers on the nearest tabletop. Extremely punctual. Feels that all orders and military regulations, inkblot, must be followed to the letter. Okay, so he feels IDW Ultra Magnus. I feel like that. I feel that here. Angered by the slightest signs of insubordination. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah. IDW Ultra Magnus. Paired with Road Rocket, a tire-squealing high-speed menace with a knack for always being on time. Maximum ground speed, Mach 1. Armed with high-velocity missiles. Okay, so let's go to the more weaponry again. So we had, for an infantryman to also be in a position where, like, he really has to be, like, order-focused. I guess he can just be a really good soldier. And just really believes in like keeping to order and such. Okay, I will accept that. I will accept that. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I like his design. I'll give him that. Take off. I want to point out, Power Flash here is a jet, which is fine. Takeoff here has wheels. Takeoff seems like he is ground-based in design. But apparently not. Apparently not. Function, aerial reconnaissance. There's nothing like dive-bombing Autobots from 60,000 feet. A fast-moving, fast-talking Decepticon can track incoming Autobot defenders from over 1,000 miles away. Believes a command of the skies always determines the outcome of any conflict. Him and Gut Cruncher are going to get along great. Outfitted with a sonic boom laser that can pummel solid rock into soft sand within milliseconds. Winged partner Screech is an advanced Eagle Scout with neutron laser demagnetizer cannons that drain the energon from Autobot storage cylinders. So he obviously has wheels on his design. He obviously is very much a jazz. Like, he looks like a jazz body. I can't tell from the artwork. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a repaint of jazz. But yeah, like aerial reconnaissance, the name Takeoff, the character has wheels. The character has tires. I am getting a mixed signal here. Circuit, auto function, messenger. Whatever you do, keep rolling. A smooth-talking, fast-moving Formula 1 racer, which is again weird to bring up in a toy line that can't transform. Speaks with the quick, easy banter of a used car salesman. Hates to do things for nothing and is constantly looking to make a deal, even with his superiors. Okay, so we have another one who doesn't really like to do anything. Relatable. And this one's on the Autobot side, though. Sought after with a vengeance by both friends and enemies who have been victimized by his latest scam. Okay, so, okay. We have a lot of, like, weirdly swindle-coded characters in the Action Masters. Car armed with extendable wheelbase for taking turns at breakneck speeds and visibility screens for close-range covert operations. So, he is Mirage. He is Mirage with a dash of swindle. Converts into agile spring suspension exosuit armed with devastating Gatling machine guns. So this is one of the Action Master, not the elites. I can't remember what they're called. This is like Slicer, who I believe is coming up here. Who has a big mech suit attachment. Rumbler, frontline defense. A strong defense can crush any offense. Defenses usually don't crush anything. So let's get that clear. Usually called into action during times of severe crisis, often part of the first line of defense against Decepticon attack. Okay, I don't think severe crisis and often part of first defense coexist, because severe crisis is rare, and I can't call it often then. His all-terrain vehicle converts into exosuit armor shield, able to withstand. Okay, so I'm gonna just simplify this. No personality is actually given in this bio. I have no idea who this character is other than he is a really good defensive person. That's it. And the rest is just about his vehicle. That's a little bit disappointing. Like, Rumbler's always been a weird one to me because it's that one that sounds like a much more familiar character, but it's one letter off. So that's a little bit off to me. I'm kind of upset. Like, I was hoping there'd be something to him. Oh, well. Here's Slicer, our Wheeljack repaint. A massive assault specialist. Annihilation equals victory. Yeah, usually it does. Attack, attack, attack. He has no other strategy. He's me in Pokemon. A most feared adversary who is cruel and unjust, even toward his own Decepticon peers. A hard Decepticon to deal with. Possesses a short-fused temper. His assault vehicle converts an exosuit. Okay, generally seen in the Decepticon's first line of attack, inflicting damage upon everything and everyone. So here's a character who makes sense for always being in the first line. He is super aggressive and very cruel about it. Okay, this makes sense. So yeah, this has personality. Short-tempered, very quick to shoot, really enjoys being on the front line. Okay, that works. And he's kind of antithesis of Wheeljack in that way, so I kind of appreciate that. Now we get into the elites. So these are the last 4 that we're going to do for the day because there's only 4 to go. These are the ones who actually had alt modes, so we disregard the whole part of, like, no transforming anymore. All right, double punch, Desert Vanguard. Double the power means double the destruction. These quotes are very, very apparent, very hot. Like, yeah, correct. You are correct. Forged out of the most hardened metallic substance in Cybertron's most remote desert region. Combats computer-driven units in sandstorms with temperatures exceeding 150 degrees Fahrenheit. He has a ferocious temper that causes him to react violently at anything that crosses his path. Usually aligns with both sides in an argument just to advance his own position in the Decepticon ranks. Okay, cool. So we have a schemer here. We have a bit of a schemer here. Okay, I like that. Cunning and cynical, Double Punch can convert to a fearsome dual-clawed robotic scorpion to perform most diabolical schemes. So this would have been real easy to just make him a Scorponok-alike and just have him just be a powerhouse with, like, delusions of leadership, which he kind of has. So it sounds like he's the type of character who is very kind of schemy, work his way up the ranks, but he's kept down because his temper gets him into trouble. So I can see where this would be a little bit of an interesting character. He kind of works like a Starscream, but he doesn't seem to have the cowardice. You replace cowardice with anger. I don't know, could be fun. Why don't we use him more often? Okay, it's time for the boy. It's time for the boy. So you notice I've left off all of the existing characters who are Action Masters, Optimus, Megatron, Soundwave, Grimlock, etc. Omega Supreme has always been in that gray area of maybe it's Omega Supreme, maybe they just mistyped something. But the color scheme says otherwise, so we're going to go with a brand new character here. Ground Assault. Grinding Decepticons through my treads is my only objective. See, these used to be mottos, and I don't see that as a motto anymore. I feel like that is just like, the quote from his manifesto. There's no stopping him from taking on the Decepticons' most ruthless forces. Displays no fear or caution when excited to the point of armed combat. Gets his kicks when he slams his treads into high gear of attacking to attack unsuspecting Decepticons. Often refers to his Decepticon counterparts as the lowest form of cybernetic existence. That says a lot. Okay, let's be honest. There are some scummy Autobots too. Let's be honest here. Geez, that's contempt for you. Skilled in the art of synthetic metallurgy, manipulating pre-solidified steel and titanium alloy into photon laser weaponry. So where was this guy when IDW was coming up with the idea of, like, sculpting protoforms? Because I feel like he would have been perfect. Always seen cleaning out his neutronic laser barrels in case of attack. Can change into a devastating laser tank with a rotating tank cannon unit. So Very different from Omega Supreme. Very combat focused, very heavy ordnance. But still, the metallurgy is also an interesting thing to throw in. He's using it for weaponry, but there's some artistry to him too. You could do something with that character-wise. If only the name wasn't confusing so much. Turbomaster. Okay, this is a funky one here. So for those who aren't familiar, for whatever reason, Turbomaster is designed to be Bruticus. Like, literally, he's shaped like Bruticus. We don't know why. Aerial Marauder. To control the sky is to control the ground. Okay. We have a few in this run that have had similar philosophies. Turbomaster lives by the philosophy that supreme domination is only achieved by gaining absolute control of the sky. It's really not true. We got a lot of underwater civilizations in Transformers. Kind of hard to control them from the sky. Stops at nothing to vanquish an enemy force. Enjoys field testing new laser weapons on Autobot vacation resorts. Do Autobots have a lot of vacation resorts? I mean, do we have, like, the Bahamas, but for Autobots? I'm unaware of them. Upsets his fellow Decepticons when he tests his hovering capabilities while they're playing cyber poker. Okay, so is he just a prick that just waits until they're actually playing poker and then turns his fan on? That's so mean. Likes to handle dangerous missions alone. His battle tactic is to strike an enemy hard and fast, sparing no one. A heartless Decepticon who is never satisfied with victory. Always strives for complete and utter defeat of an adversary. Converts to overpowering dual propeller vertical takeoff plane. So he's a jerk. He just sounds like a jerk who wants to ruin everyone's good time. Like he wants to ruin vacation resorts and poker games. It's a hilarious idea that he's just that petty. And the last one to focus on today is Windmill. Weirdly asymmetric in an era where, like, asymmetry was very rare in a Transformer. Function, air defense. Nothing is immune from my radar systems. Nothing. Again, it's not a motto anymore. A specialist in air defense technology. Designed and implemented the Autobots' home-based radar system. He's the IT guy. Advanced kinetic intelligence and cyber optic perception modem implant enables him to track enemy attack forces anywhere in the galaxy. That's pretty good reception. Does it get 5G? Can I set up a hotspot? Because, like, I'm getting no signal out here. Feels a special dislike toward Decepticons for obliterating his defense laboratory on Cybertron. So they've already destroyed one of your defense systems, but you still make the defense systems. I feel like that's a flaw. Enjoys the challenge of revamping discarded metallic substances to create new forms of laser weaponry. Okay, so he's a hobbyist too. We have a lot of, like, gun hobbyists amongst the Autobots, apparently. Able to convert into high-impact counter-strike helicopter. So he's the guy in charge of defense, but his defenses have been penetrated before. I guess everyone's allowed one strike? Still, I didn't know we had, like, purely defensive-minded characters in this mix. That's actually kind of cool, especially in the Action Master Elites, where they can transform. Like, you'd think more character would go toward that. But no. That is going to be it. That is the full run of fresh Action Masters. All the ones that were done specifically for that range. It's a lot of oddball characters and a lot of traits that were starting to feel familiar. We had a lot of swindle types. We had a lot of super aggressive types. We had a run of introverts there for a bit. But interesting time to learn about. You know, you could see where they are at the tail end of the creativity of the line. So a lot of this is kind of just thrown together. But there's still traces of good characters in there if you really, really sift through. So that's my history lesson for the day. Thank you everyone for listening in on it. Hope you learned something about the last run of, fresh G1 characters. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday / early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.